Hello everybody, how you doing today? We're here today back doing another video. Today we're doing a video about yesterday's Women's March and the protests that happened yesterday. I gotta say, first off, that I'm very, very proud of the protesters out there in all the various cities that congregated peacefully and got their message across without destruction and burning property and things like that. Hats off to you guys, great job. You guys are proving what makes America great. And what makes America great is our ability to be able to speak out when we're concerned about things, and we can get together peacefully like that and get our point across without destroying property and other such things. So great job, everybody. It was a big, worldwide type of thing. So it was very impressive, very impressive. Only little downshot is there was some people that, vandalize a Starbucks. Those people, shame on you people, whoever you are, wherever you are. You're the only bad spot on a really great day that was yesterday for America and for these protesters. It's something that has been a big deal for me because I've been seeing a lot of the recent protesting that happened directly after the election, and I really didn't like the turns that some of those protests were taking. I didn't approve of people pouring out onto freeways and blocking traffic and basically being just generally disruptive to an entire city because they felt like change wasn't coming quick enough, or because they felt like they needed to make a point. No, you need to understand that you got to have dignity. When you protest, you got to have a little bit of dignity too. You just got to have a little bit of sense, because who's going to want to listen to you when you're destroying their property? Think about it. That's just common sense. So, anyways, so shame on all those people that vandalized that Starbucks. That was just unacceptable. But these protesters yesterday were really very impressive. They got out there, they got their message across peacefully. It's kind of amazing when you hear some of the things that some of the cities, like some of the police chiefs that I'm going to go into here in a second, and what they were saying about the atmosphere of these, marches, this Women's March in various cities. They all tend to be talking about how very peaceful it was, how orderly it was, how respectful the protesters were to the various law enforcement agencies, which is absolutely stellar, absolutely stellar. I honestly was wishing to see something like this, and now I have. So that's why I'm making this video, because I was wishing to see it so much. People protesting responsibly and respectfully and with dignity, that I had to speak on it. I had to say something because I was impressed. So our ability to do this, our ability to get together and protest like this and make our concerns vocal and heard by the people that make the laws and are in the positions of power, this is what makes America great. We the people have the power when we exercise it properly. And that's the point here. That's the important point here that I just wanted to make with this video. The main point that I wanted to make with this video. So I want to go ahead and talk about some of the protests in Boston, and I want to talk about some of the protests in North Carolina, because I happened to talk to a couple people from both locations and had gotten some pictures and some various information about those two spots. I would also encourage anybody out there that if you're watching this video and you want to share with me what happened in your city, the Women's March in your city or the protests in your city, and how peaceful and orderly they were, and things that your public officials and things had to say about how orderly and peaceful they were, I'd love to hear it, love to see it. Go ahead and just post links to it in the comments down below this video. I'll be happy to go check them out. Absolutely happy to go check them out. And if I end up doing a follow-up video on this, I may go ahead and put them in, just like I'm going to do with Boston and North Carolina here. So really cool thing here. We're going to see pictures of the people gathering in Boston. We're also going to see a Facebook post from the Boston Police Department talking about how impressed the chief was with how orderly and respectful the protesters were. Very, it just, when I saw that, it really kind of filled my heart up a little bit, because it showed that law enforcement was actually respecting what was going on and weren't taking a a negative approach on it. So I think that's good because the atmosphere of it was good. My friend in Boston, Michelle, was telling me that the police chief was on TV talking about it was like a parade atmosphere. That it didn't seem like a protest or it didn't seem so much like if it was adversarial, that it really had the feel of a parade and that kind of jubilant kind of atmosphere. So that's really, really cool. And then I'm going to show you some pictures of the people in North Carolina. You can see them all together peacefully, standing in a city square, streets, in the street, in between some buildings and stuff. But you see them all peacefully carrying their picket signs. Everybody's pretty much happy and stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys that now, and I'll come back. Okay, so here we see the Boston protesters, the Women's March in Boston, and everybody there peacefully walking down the Boston Commons there. So that's pretty cool, everybody holding their picket signs and all that. And like I said, the police chief actually said that there was like a parade-like atmosphere to it. So anyway, this is the Boston Police Department's Facebook post that they put on Facebook. To the tens of thousands who participated in today's Women's March on Boston Common earlier today, Saturday, January 21st, 2017, the men and the women of the Boston Police Department would like to thank you for the high levels of respectful and responsible behavior on display throughout the day, said Commissioner Evans. Really impressed with the amount of respect and courtesy shown to my officers and everybody attending today's Women's March. And I'd just like to personally thank everybody who demonstrated in a peaceful and polite and respectful manner. All right, so what we see here is from a lady, from a woman who went to the D.C. Women's March gathering from Boston. She was from Boston originally, and this is basically her experience on the flight home when she was headed back to Boston. Found this to be kind of particularly heartwarming. It's people putting aside their differences and looking for the similarities, and I think that's probably a key factor here. So anyways, what happens here is, got on the flight home with many pink-hatted ladies. 2 young men were headed home to Boston too, wearing their red Make America Great Again hats. I remembered Obama's parting words, that we need to come together and leave our comfort bubbles. As I walked down the aisle towards them, I noticed a Pats sweatshirt, a Patriot sweatshirt, on one of the guys, and I said, "Go Pats," smiling. I think that was something we can all agree on. The guys broke into grins, several marchers smiled too, and the ice was broken. A little bit of healing happened. We can do this. And that's the right kind of attitude. That lady has the right attitude because, she's just trying to create an awareness, just like a lot of these protesters were. It's less about the adversarial process so much, I think. At least people are trying to put that aside. And that to me is a big, big deal. So I hope to see a lot more like this, and it really does need to happen a bit more. And this is the picture from the North Carolina rally. Just peacefully gathering people. It looks very friendly. It looks very peaceful. It looks like everybody's just there hanging out and happy to just be there and getting their point across. So it's a great thing. I don't have anything from North Carolina or from where this was, from any of the county officials or any of the public officials, but it's a great picture. You can see everybody there communing, and that's really what needs to happen. Okay, hey everybody. So those were pictures from Boston and from the North Carolina gathering, which were provided to me by Marie Titus. Anyways, so I just want to reiterate, that these folks are really demonstrating what makes America great. The ability for all Americans to be able to voice their concerns without fear of imprisonment or reprisal. That's what makes America truly great. Whereas in other countries, even to think about speaking badly about the leader can land you in prison and possibly death. So, that's what makes America great. And I'm just so happy to have seen, the people of America get together and exercise their power so skillfully and so peacefully and just nail on the head. I just can't. It's just so It was so great to see. It was so great to see it. I can't say that enough, that it was very impressive. And my hat's off to all of you protesters out there that made it happen, with the exception of the knuckleheads that vandalized the Starbucks. But anyways, so I think you can all hold your heads high. You know, you did a very, very great job yesterday on January 21st. Just can't say that enough, like I said. So the only thing I have really left to say now is that, you know, we all know that obviously this women's march and these protests were happening because people are concerned about Trump. And I'm not going to say any more than that. I'm not going to say Trump is a bad guy. I'm not here to do that. That's not why I'm here. Trump is POTUS. Trump is the president of the United States. I accept that. He is. And hopefully he'll do a good job. He's going to get a fair shot from me. So, but having said that, a lot of us are going to be watching him because a lot of us have concerns about him. And I hope that the people in the Trump camp can eventually understand that. The people in the Trump camp really need to understand that not everybody can get behind Trump the way they did. It's just not possible for some people. So I hope there can be a little bit of understanding that comes from that. Kind of like what happened on the plane in Boston with some of the lady protesters when they saw a couple of Trump supporters on the plane. That is like the epitome of really how we should be looking at this. We should not be enemies. We're all on the same team here. We may not all see it the same way, but we're all on the same team. And the way that lady chose to conduct herself in that situation, and that those two gentlemen, those two Trump supporters, chose to conduct themselves civilly, I mean, that's the kind of thing we need. Peace and understanding, you know, not just digging in, picking sides and digging in and flinging the poo, as it were. So, but to all those folks, you know, like I said, just be understanding of some of the folks that just can't get behind Trump. Just be a little understanding. They can't. Some of them can't. You got to understand that. The other thing about Trump supporters that I would say is this. Just because somebody says something negative about Trump, you can't automatically come down on top of them and call them a Hillary supporter. It doesn't fit all the time. Maybe some of the people you're saying it to are actually Hillary supporters, but a lot of people didn't support either one. And I guarantee you that if Hillary had won, we'd have a very similar situation, but only people would be talking about Hillary instead of Trump, and that we would have people bashing, you know, protesting against Hillary, and there would be a lot of contention the opposite way, because neither option was really very popular with the people. That's the truth. That is the honest truth of it. And you guys all know that. Everybody knows that. These two choices were crap. So it's hard for anybody to be gung-ho for either one. And having said that, I've just seen the Trump supporters making that mistake over and over, seen it a million times. Don't call me a Hillary supporter because I said something about Trump. Trump is not a perfect model individual. He's not a perfect guy. He's got some things about him that make people a little uncomfortable. That's just got to be accepted. Now, will he rise above that? I hope so. Will he be a good president? I hope so. He's going to get his chance. No matter what the protesters say, no matter what I say, he's going to get his chance. But we're watching. If he starts stepping out of line and he eventually, you know, goes the way where we don't feel he's trying to make America great again, I'm sure the people will get together and there will be something that will happen. But it will happen properly, through proper channels, with dignity and with respect. And that's the way it should be. And that's the main point of my video, as I said at the beginning. I just had to make this video because I was so impressed with the protesters. You got out there, you did it right. You did it peacefully. You did it without maiming or killing or burning or destroying property. Beautifully done. Beautifully done, and a perfect example. And I'm going to go ahead and leave it on that note, everybody. And we'll talk to you later on the next video.